Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're building a literal step-by-step roadmap for securing your AI projects. Look, if you work in tech, you already know deploying AI unlocks just an entirely new universe of capabilities for your organization. But let's be real, it also opens up a totally new landscape of risks. So, how do we actually protect these systems? Well, we're going to solve this by taking two powerhouse cybersecurity frameworks and fusing them into one single cohesive strategy.
Okay, let's dive right into the million-dollar question. How do you secure a technology that's constantly evolving itself? I mean, traditional software is pretty static once it's deployed, right? But AI, it's advancing so rapidly and dynamically that those old-school ad hoc security measures, they just aren't enough anymore to protect your organization. You literally can't just build a firewall and call it a day. You need a security strategy that is exactly as dynamic and adaptable as the AI models you're actually deploying.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the AI security challenge, then move into building your framework foundation, identifying and governing risks, protecting the AI ecosystem, active detection and response, and finally, adapting to new threats.
So, let's kick things off with Section 1, the AI Security Challenge.
To tame the absolute chaos of AI development and tackle this unique challenge head-on, we are going to fuse two massive resources. First up is the battle-tested foundation of the newly updated NIST Cybersecurity Framework 2.0, or CSF. You can think of this as your core structure for managing enterprise-wide cyber risk. Second, we're bringing in the cutting-edge AI-centric tactics of Google's Secure AI Framework, usually just called SAFE. Now, by themselves, NIST might feel a bit too broad for the nitty-gritty specifics of AI, and SAFE might feel too narrow if it isn't integrated into your broader risk management. But put them together, it is an absolutely perfect match.
To really wrap our heads around this, think of a hybrid car metaphor. NIST provides the architectural blueprint. It's the chassis of the car. It gives you the wheels, the steering, and the structural integrity. Meanwhile, Google SAFE, that is the smart, high-performance AI engine that we're installing right inside of it. You absolutely need the chassis to keep everything safely on the road, but you gotta have that engine to actually handle the unique, heavy-lifting demands of artificial intelligence. Moving right along to Section 2, building your framework foundation.
We really need to understand the shape of our chassis before we go dropping that engine in. NIST is built around a wheel of 6 core functions: govern, identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. And because this is a continuous circle, not just a straight line, these functions have to happen concurrently to manage your risk effectively. Govern sits right smack in the center, and that's because your organization's overarching strategy and expectations literally inform every single other action you're taking on that outer ring.
To actually apply this foundational wheel in the real world, you follow 5 specific steps to create what NIST calls an organizational profile. You start by scoping out your project. So let's say it's your brand new generative AI chatbot. Next, you gather all the needed information on its current security state. Then you create your organizational profile, analyze the gaps between where you currently are and where you securely need to be, and finally, you implement an action plan. This process gives you a rock-solid baseline.
Which brings us to Section 3, identifying and governing risks.
All right, this is where we roll up our sleeves and actually start dropping our AI engine into the chassis. The crucial point here is that when you sit down to govern and identify your AI assets using NIST, you've got to crosswalk that with Google's 6th AIS-AIF element, contextualizing AI system risks within surrounding business processes. Basically, you can't just look at an AI model in a vacuum. You have to govern it based on how it's going to impact your entire enterprise end-to-end.
Practically speaking, this means your target security profile must include automated checks to validate exactly how the AI is performing. But it also means you need to govern your data lineage. You have to track exactly where your training data is coming from, how it's being validated, and you need to closely monitor its operational behavior. If bad data gets identified here, you govern it right out of the system before it becomes a massive vulnerability.
Okay, next stop on the roadmap is Section 4, protecting the AI ecosystem.
So once you've established the rules and identified the risks, we arrive at the protect phase of our secure AI journey. Let's map NIST's protect function directly to Google's SAFE Elements 1 and 4. NIST says you need to deploy safeguards, right? Well, Google SAFE gives you the specific AI safeguards to do that, expanding strong foundations to the AI ecosystem and harmonizing platform-level controls. Your actionable focus right here is creating a secure-by-default infrastructure across the whole organization. Security just can't be an afterthought for your developers anymore.
This bite-sized breakdown of SAFE shows exactly how you protect AI in the real world. You basically take classic, proven mitigations, like input sanitization, which we've used for years to stop things like SQL injections, and you adapt them to defend against new AI-specific threats, like prompt injection. You also harmonize these controls. So whether a team is using Vertex AI or some other platform entirely, you build these protections directly into the software development lifecycle. That way, the safety mechanisms just scale effortlessly.
Moving on to Section 5, Active Detection and Response. Let's be honest, no matter how good your protections are, prevention just isn't foolproof. Here, we're crosswalking NIST's detect and respond functions with SIFE Elements 2 and 3. NIST requires you to find anomalies and take action. SIFE tells you exactly how. Extend your detection to the AI threat universe and automate your defenses. This is fundamentally about taking your traditional incident response capabilities and upgrading them for the AI era.
Because here is the harsh reality. Adversaries are absolutely going to use AI to scale their attacks against you. They're going to move faster and they're going to hit harder. Therefore, you must monitor both the inputs and the outputs of your generative AI systems for anything remotely anomalous. And even more importantly, you have to leverage AI threat intelligence to fight back. You literally have to use AI to automate your defense, ensuring you stay nimble and cost-effective when you're responding to these high-speed automated incidents.
And that brings us to our final stop, Section 6, Adapting to New Threats.
Let's see how this all builds into the recover phase and the absolute critical need for continuous evolution. You see, AI security is not a one-time checklist. You don't just secure the model, deploy it, and walk away. It is an ongoing, continuous feedback loop. Implementing your initial action plan is literally just the start. You must constantly analyze new gaps, update the profile, and push toward continuous improvement.
And when you fuse NIST's mandate for continuous profile updating with SIFE's fifth element, which is all about adapting controls for faster feedback loops, that is where the real magic happens. Your AI system actually learns from the attacks against it. It hardens itself over time. The frameworks stop being just dusty documents sitting on a server and become a living, breathing defense mechanism.
To practically implement this kind of continuous recovery and adaptation, your team should be regularly running red team exercises. You've got to actively look for weaknesses before the bad guys do. And when incidents do happen, or even just when users report weird, glitchy outputs, you use reinforcement learning from those events to update your training data sets. You fine-tune your model so they can actively resist those specific types of attacks in the future.
Which brings us to the end of our roadmap. As you prepare to deploy your next AI initiative, take this hybrid strategy, this powerful fusion of the NIST Foundation and the Google SIF engine, and ask yourself a tough question. Are you actively fusing these frameworks to build security and by design, or are you just leaving your complex new systems totally exposed and hoping for the best? Take this roadmap, close those gaps, and build your AI future on a solid, secure foundation. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.